Hello everyone, this is Fredrik Eklind from Nordic Legacy Studios, and today I am going to show you how you can intervene dialogue and animations using blueprints. And as the last tutorial, we will be using the point-and-click toolkit, which you can get from the Epic Games marketplace. So basically what we want to achieve is something similar to this, where we have two characters engaged in a conversation. And when one of them says something, we want a specific animation to be played. There are many ways you can achieve this, but I will be using a method which is based mostly on blueprints. We will also be using some basic camera works, which you can see here, and which I explained in my last tutorial. So I will recommend go check that out as well. As for animations, we will be using the Strike a Pose animation pack, which was part of a free for the month package on the marketplace. If you don't have it, you can use some other type of animation that you have. Maybe you have some cool mocap or something else. Just be sure that it's designed for Unreal Engine's default mannequin skeleton, otherwise you will have to mess a lot with it to get it to work. So let's get started. So this is the scene which we will be working in today. It's quite basic. We have our 3D player character, which I have named Alex. We have an advanced camera, which I named Start Camera, a scene manager, and a nav mesh bound volume to be able to move around. I also made this sort of house just to get in the mood of the scene. It's not necessary, you can skip this if you like. But I thought it was nice, and we also have these furniture which I picked from the Quixel Bridge, which I also thought was quite nice. To get started here, we would like to have another character to interact with, because we don't want this to be a monologue, we want it to be a conversation between two characters. So we will go to our content browser and we will search for Shopkeeper. We will drag him out here, like so. We would also like to add an interaction volume into this scene. So to do that, we will go here and search for interaction volume. I will get it up here. Make it a little bit bigger. And we will put it... Yeah, I think it's nice here. And we will make a reference to this shopkeeper here. So when our character goes and interact with the shopkeeper, our character will go to the middle of this box and then start talking. And then we will enter the blueprint of the shopkeeper. And if you haven't messed around here, it should look something like this when you go to the TalkTo function. But we don't want to use the stuff here. We want to add our own dialogue, so we will disconnect these two. And we will put them up here for now, like so. And because we will mostly be working in our scene manager, we would like to make a reference here to that one. So go to the event graph and to the event begin play and drag out and do a cast to scene manager. And this scene manager should be the one which is in your scene. So my is named scene manager base house. So that is the one which I'm going to use. And I will also add the name here. Scene manager base house, actor of class. And I will make a reference here, promoter variable. And I will name this one scene manager house ref. You can name it whatever you like. So next up we will add a custom event in our scene manager. So go here to our scene manager and in graph we will add a new graph and name it house dialogue. And in here we will add a custom event and name it house dialogue start. And drag out and search for start dialogue sequence, which is where we will start our dialogue when we have everything set up. And here we will drag out from the return value and search for bind event to on dialogue complete, because we want our animations to be activated when each dialogue is completed. And we will go from the event here and drag out to the custom event. And we will name this one Dialogue Animations. And we'll go here to the start dialogue sequence, drag again, and search for next dialogue index, like so, and connect it, the index here. And we will also drag out here again and bind event to on dialogue sequence complete, which we will connect here. So when our dialogue is complete, we would want it to return back to our normal scene. Dialogue complete, we will call this one. We will also add an unbind all events from on dialogue complete, and another one called unbind all events from on dialogue sequence complete, because this will prevent the dialogue from repeating itself. While making this tutorial, I experienced a bug that would make the floating dialogue text not be aligned to the character's position. If you experience this bug as well, you can go to this file called VBP floating dialogue text, and in here you go to the graph, event graph and event tick, and you can add these two nodes, which you can get by writing add. And with these nodes you have to experiment a little to get the right values, but this is not a permanent fix, but for now this will work for the tutorial. So let's hope it will be fixed in a later version of Unreal Engine. And now we are soon ready to make some dialogue, but first we're going to fix some tagging on our characters. So we will go to our shopkeeper, which I have named Kim here, and we will go to the global interaction component. And here I will write the display name of Kim, because that's the name I have given this character. And here you have the gameplay tags, and I have made one which is called Kim here, and you maybe want to add another name here. So to do that, we will go and search for tags and enter the DT gameplay tags, and here you can add your own tag. So I have added Kim here, which you can see here, and I will be using that one. So I will exit this one, and I think we're good to go. So now we will create a folder here and call it dialogue, and in here we are going to make a data table. So you can just right click and then write data, and then data table will come up here. And here I will choose something called dialogue s dialogue here, and I will press OK, and I will name this one test dialogue. Save it, and then I will enter it. So in here in this data table we are going to add a new row. We will name it house dialogue. And the first one will be Kim, and we will add a bunch of them here. I think 7 is enough. And I have pre-made some dialogue here which I will use and copy paste. You can use something else. Maybe you have come up with some cool dialogue which you want to test out, so you can use that one. But my dialogue here is adapted to the animations we are going to use, so I will start copy pasting here. So the first one is Kim, and she's angry at Alex because Alex is late, and she has been preparing dinner and Alex hasn't shown up, so she's quite upset. So Kim is saying, "Oh, you're late, Alex. Where have you been, you damn fool?" And we will add Kim to the tag here, so it is to the text will appear over Kim character. And then Alex responds with, Kim, I just got promotion at work. I can't believe it. And this is Alex saying that, so it should be the character player tag. And here we want to check this box here, because we are going to use our own animation. We are not going to use the animation that is included in the toolkit on this specific sequence. So check the none. And next up, Kim responds, "Oh wow, Alex, that's amazing, congratulations." And here it will be Kim again. And here we're going to use the pre-made animations. And in the next row here, Kim is saying something again. "Well, Mr. Big Shot, I hope this promotion doesn't go to your head." So she's a little worried about Alex, that Alex will be so confident in this new promotion. So we'll go to Kim again in the tag. And here we will use our own animation, so the character animation will set to none here. And next up, Alex responds with, "Don't worry, Kim, I'll stay grounded." And Alex is saying something here, and then Kim responds, "And yet you still managed to forget the groceries, huh? Oh, unlucky, Alex." And here we're going to use our own animation, so this will be set to none. We have another one here where Alex responds, "Yeah, I got caught up with work. I'm really sorry, Kim. I'll make sure to grab the groceries next time. And maybe we can celebrate with a special dinner." So this is Alex saying this. And we will use our own animation here as well. And we will finish off with just another dialogue here. And this one will be called "Sounds like a plan, Alex. Just don't forget the list next time." So here Kim is reminding Alex that he must be better at remembering stuff. So now we had added our dialogue here. So now we can leave this for now. Another thing we need to do is go to our scene manager here, and you will scroll down. And here you need to go here to the active dialogue data tables. And here you need to drag this test dialogue, so the scene manager can access this dialogue. Otherwise it won't work. So let's test this out first and see what happens. We have our character here, and we go through to Kim here, and you see nothing happens, and that's because we haven't connected anything yet to the TalkTo function in Kim here. So now we will go to the shopkeeper NPC in the blueprint. And here, if you remember, we added a reference to the scene manager. We'll go to the TalkTo function here. And the next thing we want to do is to drag out this. You can hold Control and the left mouse button, and you will get it here. And then here we want to search for the custom event in our scene manager to activate the dialogue. So let's get back to the scene manager, and you see here I named it House Dialogue Start. So this is the custom event we want to use. So get back to the shopkeeper, and here search for it, and here it comes up. 'We will connect this one. and we will double click on it, and here we would also like to add the name of the dialog, because now it is blank here. So let's get back to our data table called test dialog and go here to the row name, and this is the one we want to Control C and then get here and Control V. And now when we go and talk to our NPC, the dialog should activate. And the next thing we want to do is to start choosing our animations. So let's pop this down and get back here. So to get going with our animations, we will go to the Pose Animations folder, which is part of the package. So if you're using that one, we will go in here and go to Animations. And the first one we want to use is an animation called Clapping. So the first one here is A Clap 01. So we will copy paste this one, and then we will go to our dialog and create a folder here who is called Animations. And in here we have some subfolders: Clap, Dust Off, Hands on Side, and I'm Sorry. So the clap will be put in the clap folder, like so. And then we will go for another one who is called the Dust Off. It's also A Dust 01. Copy paste this and go to the Dust Off, like so. And then we need one Hands on Side. So this is basically an animation where the character is putting their hands on their hips, so they look a little bit suspicious and not so convinced. So we will find that one here, go to the main poses. We'll see if we find it here. Oh, here is the one, A Pose 06. So copy paste this one and go to the Hands on Side. And we will also need a transition animation for this one, so because this is just a looping animation. So go back here and remember the name, A Pose 06. So go to the transition folder, and now we want to choose which animation do we want to start from. So we are starting from just an idle pose, so that will most better to fit with pose 00. So go in here, and what was the name of the animation we were using? It was called 06, so pose 00 to 06. So copy paste this one, and then go back to the Hands on Side folder. And the last one we were going to use is an animation which will represent the character as the character is regretful and bending their head forward. So we will search for that one as well, and we'll see if we can find it here. Here is one where he's bending his head a lot. I think we're going to use another one. Here is one, A Pose 09. We will go with this one, A Pose 09. Copy paste and go back to the I'm Sorry. And we need a transition animation for this one as well, A Pose 09. Go to Animations and Transitions, and we will start from 0 and find 9. See if this is, yes, this is the one. So copy paste this one, A Pose 00 to 09, and put it here. So now we have our 4 animations, and before we begin to work in the animation blueprint, we need to change the skeleton of this one, because if you see here, it's the 6th row from the top. It says skeleton, and then you can see UE5 mannequin skeleton. But because we are using the point and click toolkit, we need to change the skeleton because the skeleton in the toolkit is slightly different. So we will right click on our animation and go to replace skeleton. And here you can see the original skeleton, which we're using now, and we want to change to the SK mannequin skeleton. So go and change that and press OK. And that will do, so we can work with the animation. Otherwise it won't work. And do the same with the dust off, replace skeleton, SK, hands on side, change it, and I'm sorry as well. Like so, and save, and that should be it. And now we will go to our animation blueprint, and you can see here that the shopkeeper and the 3D player character, they are using ABP mannequin C, and you can see here as well. This character is also using that one, so we will go here, browse to assets, and double click this one. And if you haven't handled animation blueprint before, I would recommend that you go to and search for a tutorial on how to just the basics, so this won't be confusing for you. But if you're familiar with this one, I think you will get along just fine if you are familiar with this one. But if you are familiar with this, I think you will get along just fine. So let's make some states here. The first state will be called clap. We will enter this. And in here we want to add an animation. So we can see here in our list, here is our clapping animation. We'll drag it here and connect it. And we also would like to have some control of this animation in the blueprints. So to do that, you can go to the sequence and press the bind this value and expose as pin. And you will get the sequence here, and you will right click it and promote to a variable. And this one I will call anim clap, just to remember that one. And it will show up here. We'll remove this one, it's an old one, like so. And we will get back here, and now to make this work we will need to drag here and here. And we have two transitions here. The first one is going upwards to the animation, and that is obviously the one where we want to activate the animation. So here we will right click and promote to a variable. And this one I will name is clapping. So when this is true, the animation should play. And when we get back to the idle, we want this to be false. So go and write not boolean and drag the is clapping into here, because we want to deactivate the animation when we are finished. And we will set up another state, and this one add state, and we will call it dust off. And here we will see, here is the dust off animation. Drag it, but first we need to enter and drag the dust off. And again, bind, exposes pin, and right click, promote to a variable. And name this anim dust off. And here, drag again to the dust off and back to the idle. Here, promote, name it something is dust off. And when we get back, it should not boolean and is dust off. And then if you remember, we had two other types of animation, which will be using two animations. And the first one which we made is the one where the character puts his hands on the hips. So first we will add a state, and this one will called hands, and we will call it on hips transition, so we will know which one this is, and another state called on hips. So first we want to add drag to the transitions, and here we will, and then when the transition has played, we want it to go to the on hips, and when the animation on hips is finished, we want it to go back to idle walk, like so. So go into the first one, promote to a variable. Let's call it is on hips. And then this one, we would like to, let's first add the animations so we doesn't get confused here. Here we will have the on the hips animation, and we try to find it. And this is the transition 00206. So let's add that one in and connect it. And because this is a transition animation, for this tutorial we will not use the sequence here. We will compile, and this is the looping animation, so I will find the A pose 06 and drag it here. And this one we will like to control, so we will bind it and expose as pin, and then promote it to a variable, and name this one anim on hips. So when this one is true, it will go to the transition animation. And here we haven't added anything yet, so you will enter this transition here, double click, and here you will search for something called time remaining. And you want to know the time of the A pose 00206. And you will drag out and write less, like so, and connect it here. So what this means is when, let's say, we will put the value here to 0.4. So when 0.4 seconds is remaining, the transition will enter. And you will see this work in game later. And we will make another one of this for our, because we have one where our character is feeling a bit regretful, and that's the one who is called A pose 09. So we will make another one here, add a state, and call it sorry transition. And another one called just sorry. So drag out to sorry transition, and here from sorry and back again to idle. So when we first enter the sorry transitions here, we want to promote to a variable and call it is sorry. Oh, I see, we forgot something here. Sorry about that. On the hips, it needs to have a not boolean here. And this is on hips, not. So now it should look as it should. So get back to the sorry transition here. We add this one is sorry. So when this is true, we will go to the transition. We will enter this one, get into the state, and we will find the transition animation here, 00 to 09. And then we would like to enter this transition here, And here we want to right click and search for time remaining. And this is the one right here. And drag out and write less and connect it to the transitions. We will set the value of 0.4. And then we will add the looping animation here, apose 09. And again bind espose as pin, promoter variable, and call it anim sorry. And here, when we get back, we want a not boolean, not that one, and find the sorry is sorry, not. And now I think, let's see if we forgot something. No, it seems to check out. We have the dust off, the clap, the on hips, and the I'm sorry animation. So this is the end of part 1 of this tutorial. I hope you're doing good so far. We will continue on with the last part in the next video.